Okay, so what we're gonna do today, and what I'm gonna talk about today, is kind of my side of the engagement weekend. So, as you guys know, like, it was supposed to be a surprise. It was 100% a surprise, but it's still kind of, there are definitely some things that, looking back in hindsight, I was like, that was a little bit sus and just a little bit weird, but also I trust Zach, and so I was just like, okay, like, I know I just didn't really think anything of it at the time. And then also, like, my mom, and I might bring her in here in a second to also share some of her part of the story, but like, she was also acting a tiny bit weird. There's some weird things, but I'll start with that Friday. I went to work, and then I came home, and I went to the store with my mom and my sister. My sister said that she wanted to go, and while we were there, my mom was like, why didn't you get something new to run in and she brought this up like a couple weeks before, of like, hey, like, do you want to go to the store and get a new running outfit for like your race, because I was doing a half marathon the next day. And at that, like, the 2 weeks before, I was like, no, I'm good, like, I'm just comfy in what I already have. But while we were at Target, actually, in like the clearance section, I was looking, and this is kind of a coincidence. I mean, I think my mom was kind of prompting me to look, but like, I don't think I would have even like looked at anything except we were in the clearance section. So I'm just like flipping through the clearance section at Target, and I see this cute little like light blue, like really light blue, like workout outfit. So it's like cute little shorts that low-key look like a skirt because it's so flowy, and then like a cute little tank top that went with it. And I was like, oh, this would be cute. I tried it on, it fit good. I was still like going back and forth and like whether or not I wanted to get it or not. And then my mom, she like grabbed it and was like, okay, I'll get it for you. And I was like, you really don't need to do that. She's like, no, like, it's okay, like, I want to pay for it. And I didn't really think anything of it in the moment, but like, I'm sure if I had been wearing something the next day that wasn't, like, if I just been wearing my ratty old running clothes that I've had for years, maybe it would have been a little less picturesque for the proposal. So I think that worked out pretty good. And then that night, so I am allergic to dogs, but I bought my family a dog a couple of years ago. We have like a cute little Malta pair named Toasty, and it's generally not really that big of an issue because I live at school for most of the year. I'm in Idaho, but whenever I'm home, I am like taking the allergy meds every single day, like all the kinds that I possibly can without like overlapping anything. So I normally take Benadryl at night, especially if it's like a weekend, because I'm usually home on the weekends more. And my mom was like, you should take 2 Benadryls. And I'm like, that'll make me so sleepy in the morning. She's like, well, just take them early. So I took Benadryl at like 5 p.m. And so I'm right before we went to the store, and I'm like walking through Target, and I'm like half asleep, like literally half asleep. And I'm in the car, and I'm trying not to fall asleep on the way home, and then I get home, and I texted Zach, but he told me that he was going camping, and he told me this like probably like 5 to 7 days in advance that he was planning on going camping.
Poor Chantel thinks I am going camping with my family, when in reality I am about to fly to her.
With like his uncle and his dad and his cousin. And so I was like expecting that to happen, and so I knew that he told me that he probably wouldn't have cell service, and so I just sent him a good night text anyway. I was like, maybe he has service, maybe he doesn't, I'll just send him a text and say goodnight, because I was going to bed early. It was like 9, 10 o'clock, and I remember going to bed at like midnight, 1 o'clock. So that was really weird. But the whole extra Benadryl, and then also with the camping, I was super confused the morning of, because on Thursday it snowed in Idaho, and so on Friday morning, I was like, so are you still gonna go camping today? Like, isn't it still snowing? And so I was like, no, like, it's all gonna melt. And I was like, but I want to be, like, super cold. And he was like, yeah, but, like, we're still gonna go, we're still gonna do it. And I was like, okay. And so that was a little bit weird, but again, I was just like, I mean, whatever they want to do. They want to go camp in the snow, that's on them, just don't die. And so that Friday night, like, falling asleep, like, I just thought that he was in the mountains camping and didn't have service. And then I woke up the next morning. It was just a normal, like, well, it wasn't really normal because I was getting up for a race, but I usually get up early, so it wasn't, like, crazy to get up early. It was like 5:15, something like that, really early. And I'm, like, getting my stuff ready. I'm getting dressed in a new outfit, put, like, a pullover on because it's chilly outside. And then I was, like, just, like, had the thought, I should put mascara on. I'm like, why? I'm about to go run. No one's gonna see me. I don't really care. But I was just like, well, you look cute. You have a new outfit. And so I put mascara on, and then I also, and that was just a weird coincidence because I don't normally do that, but part of me, I guess I sensed in a, I don't know, in a foreseeing way that I needed to get a little bit dressed up for this race, even though I normally wouldn't do that. And then I also, like, my hair was straight because I just got my hair done a couple days before. And then my mom, she also said that she kind of was like, oh yeah, you should book that appointment sooner. And so that got done before the race, which I otherwise may not have done. I don't know when I would have booked it, but I may not have been before the race. So my hair had just been done. And so then and then in the car, I was like, you know what would be really cute, and just tie this all in. And I, like, put a couple of, like, little braids in my hair, and then put those into a ponytail, and was like, felt cute, looked cute, felt good. I was super tired though. I was so sleepy, drinking a little bit of caffeine on the way there. And then my parents seemed a tiny bit stressed, but, like, not, I don't know, I was just too tired to, like, pick up on it. But, like, looking back, they seemed a little bit, like, maybe not stressed is the right word, but just a little bit, like jittery, like, I don't know, like, anticipation is what makes sense now, like, but I didn't think about that then. And then when we got to the race, my mom was like, oh, I'm gonna do the half with you, and I was like, I mean, like, I knew that a couple days, like, a week before, but I thought she was gonna do the 10K, and so then I was like, okay, yeah, let's do the half, they can run together, or at least for part of it, or whatnot. And so we're, like, heading to the start line, and she's wanting to take a bunch of pictures, and I remember her even asking me, like, are you nervous? And I'm like, not really, like, this is, like, the 10th half marathon I've done, this isn't really a big deal, I'm just running it to run it. I honestly hadn't trained that well for it, so I wasn't, like, I didn't really care too much about my time or anything like that, and I think that, like, that was good for the situation, that it wasn't like, oh, I'm trying to PR in this race, because it definitely would not have happened with the little stop that we had. I was just kind of confused why she was so, like, nervous. I was like, this isn't your first time doing a half marathon either, like, she's done more halves and races than I have. And so I was just like, okay, like, what are we nervous about? And then we start running, and then she is running so slow, like, I mean, I think generally she runs a little bit slower than me, but, like, she was running ultra slow, and then also, like, taking walk breaks, and we're only, like, a mile in, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, is she okay? And then, like, she was, like, checking her heart rate. Her heart rate was at, like, 180, and we were, like, barely moving, and I was like, what is going on? But I didn't think that it was anything, like, external. I just thought that she wasn't okay, and that she, like, something was going on. I was worried we were gonna have to, like, call an ambulance or something, or at least call my dad and have him, like, come over. And then she actually brought that up, like, hey, like, I'm gonna call your dad, and, or, like, she texted my dad, and, well, she said that she texted him, I don't know if she actually did, and was like, yeah, he can just, like, run the rest of the race with me, or whatever it is, so that you can just keep on going. But I was legitimately, like, worried about her. But then, so then I'm probably, like, 3 miles in my head I'm thinking, like, okay, like, this is really slow. Like, honestly, it was getting, like, painfully slow. And so in my head I was thinking about the nicest way or the best way to be like, hey, like, Mom, I'm gonna keep running, but let me know if you need anything, or I can wait till like Dad or like gets here or something else. I don't know. I was just trying to brainstorm what to do in the moment, and also just trying to figure out what was going on. And then as we're running, I initially see my mom, she's like holding her phone like with the camera facing out, but like holding it here and trying to hold it steady. And I was like, what is she doing? But then I see my brother, I even asked, I was like, what are you doing? Like, and so then I slowed down because I was like, this is weird. So then I'm like next to her instead of in front of her, because I was a little bit ahead of her. And then she like puts it down and is like, she's like, what do you mean? And then she's like, oh, look, there's Xander. And then there was my brother just standing on the side of the curb, and he's waving, and he like smiles, he's grinning, and then after I'm passing him, he's like, go Shan, and like, go Mom, and just like cheering, and like, just what people who are like at a race do. But in my head I'm thinking, how did he get here? Because like the people that drove to the race was my dad, my mom, my sister Abigail, and me, and we were the four doing like running. And so, and I knew that Xander had said that he wanted to come and cheer us on, but he was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get up that early. And so I just didn't know how he got there. And so I'm like, I don't know if you guys can tell in the video, but I'm like, how did you get here? Like, I was like looking at him and like saying like, how did you get here? Like, who brought you here? And he was like, I don't know. And then anyway, and then that's whenever like behind it, so I keep running, I'm on like high alert now. I'm like, what is going on? This is weird. And then I walk past I'm still running, and then I see in the trees, like on the right, there's somebody standing there. And I am a person that I don't like to get my hopes up, because I don't like being disappointed whenever what I imagine could happen doesn't happen. And so I'm just really skeptical at this point. I'm like, what is going on? But I see somebody standing over there, wearing like running clothes, as if he could be a runner or something, but I'm not really sure yet. But and then he has blonde hair, and I'm like taking all this in. He has glasses. I'm like, is it Zach? Like, there's no way. And then I was like, how did he get here? He's camping. Like, all the things are going through my head, and not fast enough for me to actually process it. Just things are going through my head. And then I get close enough to like know that it's him. And once I know that it's him, I start like running toward him, and then he's running toward me, and he gives me a big hug, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, and he's like, oh, I came to see, like, to watch you race. And I'm like, dang, that's some commitment to something. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting him to come all the way from Idaho to just watch me do a race that I've done a lot of times. So in my head, I was just like, that is super sweet, but I was just excited to see him. Like, we hadn't seen each other in a little bit because we're doing long distance, and so I was just excited to see him, and that was a surprise enough. Like, I was not ready for what was next. But then he like pulls me farther into the trees and is like, I want to show you something. And I'm like, okay. And then this is whenever I was like, wait a second, there's no way. And I didn't think that he had the ring yet, because he said, like, first of all, we had it like custom made, so it took that's a longer process than just going to the store and picking it out and maybe needing to get it sized. And so that process was longer than some people's like waiting process for getting a ring. But then also I was waiting because, I didn't think that he had the ring, because Zach had sent me a screenshot of the jeweler that was doing the ring sending a message saying, hey, it's going to be a few more weeks. And he sent that like a week before this happened. So like a week before this happened, I'm expecting a few more weeks before the ring gets into Zach's hands. So I just did not think that he had the ring at all. But I was like, well, maybe he's just going to propose without it. But also, like, it was just so fast that I wasn't even like thinking. And he like said, he was like,
Chantel Sheldon,
like, I love you. He said my name. I don't remember everything he said because I was just like, my thoughts are going so fast, but not even like in like word form, but just in feeling forms. I was just happy and excited and like gleeful, and I just felt like, I don't know, just like I had drank like 10 energy drinks and like at one time, and was just super excited. and he got down on one knee, and it was super sweet. Like, I immediately said yes. I went for the hug before even the ring, and then I looked at the ring, and it's gorgeous. It's so pretty. I actually just was working out, so it's not on my finger. I just realized that. But and the crowd, because I mean, we were kind of out away from the crowd of like runners, but like they were like close enough that they could see whenever he got down on one knee, and so whenever I gave him a hug, there was like a cheer of applause. It was honestly so cute, because it was like they weren't like up and personal, like in the actual like hearing what he said, and they weren't right next to us. There was kind of like a blockade of like bushes and trees and stuff, but like enough of like they could see to like cheer whenever I said yes, and I thought that was super sweet. And then he was like, "Can I run the rest of the race with you?" And I was like, "Of course, 100%." And I was excited to be able to run the rest of the race with him, and we just kind of talked, and like it was just nice to be with him. Like I just miss being with him, let alone like be engaged with him. So it was just a whole like high of a feeling, and we ran the rest of the race, and it was fun to cross the finish line with him. And after we went and we got lunch, and well, actually right after, I felt like I was going to throw up from running that far and having not trained well enough for it. I was like so nauseous. I'm like, this is not the day for this. I am not, because I've like had some like bad running experiences where whenever I feel nauseous, sometimes I've like actually thrown up after I've run, but that did not happen, so thank goodness for that. And we went to lunch that day, and then we went and took the prettiest pictures, and then him and I, we went on a drive and listened to the new Noah Kahan album, because that was that like that weekend that it came out, and so we were listening to that together. And
well, we're listening to the album. We literally just got ripped up on by a cop. Just took our IDs, bruh. Noah Kahan for the L, I guess.
We're literally looking through our
engagement pictures.
And apparently we look like we're doing criminal activity.
I don't know, maybe he thinks we're doing like some drugs or something. Who knows?
I don't know why he's literally taking our licenses. We've done nothing wrong.
No, I know.
Unless this is private property. But
It could be.
just it was a perfect day. It was wonderful, and that's really my side of the story. There are a little bit of like signs of, not really signs, just a couple of things that like were a little bit odd that I didn't really pick up on until after, but it was a perfect day, and everyone involved was able to pull it off so good. So thank you to Zach for like the plan with the like surprise and coming all the way here, and thanks to my parents for storing him in the basement and like giving me extra Benadryl so that I was for sure asleep, and to my brothers for my little brother actually like dirt biked him to the spot, because all the roads were blocked off because it was a race, so you couldn't drive with your car to the spot, so he had to like ride on his dirt bike, or e-bike, it's not actually a dirt bike, his e-bike to the spot. And so that was super sweet. And to the jeweler, literally, for just like sending the decoy text, like that really, really tipped me off track. So I would not have guessed that was gonna happen. And it was just so sweet, and I'm so excited. I am so grateful to have Zach, and grateful that he is so good at surprising me, because I honestly love surprises so much. It's like my favorite thing ever. So anyway, but that's my side of the story. And thank you guys for listening. And actually, I think I might go get my mom and have her tell some of her side of the story. So let me go do that. So basically, what was your part in the proposal?
Do you want like the real story, the backstory, or like what you should know?
What do you mean?
Or what do you want? Do you want to know like all of the details? Or just what actually transpired?
maybe what actually happened.
Okay, so Zach contacted me. I don't know. It was probably like a month or so after you guys got back from visiting for Christmas, and was just saying like he's definitely, you know, you two had discussed getting married, and that he just couldn't live without you, and like literally could not do life without you. So he knew he had to propose.
Yeah.
And then he was just asking, you know, if we thought we would probably give him our blessing and that kind of thing. So it was like, you know, he's just kind of filling it out. And then he talked about some different plans and told us about a friend of his plan that we both agreed was definitely not a good idea and he would never do that. So definitely ruled out some bad ideas. And your dad and I just offered some suggestions. He offered some suggestions, and we knew that like more than anything else you wanted to be surprised, and you wanted to like not necessarily be, you know, definitely not like, hey, come to my work and propose kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of have a minute and to be able to be surprised. So that's when we, and then at some point during that time, you guys had already signed up to do a race.
Yeah.
And so,
in June.
yes. So we had like, you know, I suggested, I'm like, it would really be a huge surprise if you just showed up on the course. And when I first said it, it was a total joke. I was like, what if you just showed up and proposed, and then you know, she would never even suspect that. Well, initially, since you were going to stay there during the summer, initially it was like he was going to come and do the race too, and then he was just going to pause during the race.
Oh.
So did he not tell you all that? Yeah, so he was just going to pause during like a little ways into the race and pull you aside and propose, and then you guys finish the race. But then when you more concretely decided to get married and that you guys wanted to, you know, go home and work for the summer.
And I was going to fly in for the race?
No, he was going to fly in for the race. But yeah.
Because I wasn't technically here for that.
Well,
for the race.
That's true. So, like, it was, you know, also thinking that at times past it had been around your spring break. This year it was later, but I didn't know that at the time. Okay, but yes, that, you know, you would fly in for the race or something. But then when it was like, we found out the dates, we're like, well, that's probably not going to work. And then you kind of switched it, and we're like, hey, let's just go home and work and, like, you know, be ready to start our lives together, and then you would finish school next semester.
Yeah.
So then he was like, this is going to be so much better. He's like, because then I can just show up and it'll be a complete surprise.
Right.
And so he was having some serious anxieties though, because he was like, I don't think he like felt confident in being able to run however many miles. Yeah, and he was like, maybe I should show up at the 10-mile mark. And I'm like, Zach, you can't do that. It's just going to be all sweaty. And, yeah. And so,
and tired and
cranky. I was like, at the start of the race, I was like, it was hard to explain to him because he hasn't done a race before. And so I was trying to explain to him like how everybody gets hyped, and the theme for that race is the Wizard of Oz. So there's a lot of people that dress in costumes, like Dorothy costumes or, you know, Cowardly Lion. And so it's just a lot of fun. And there's a lot of volunteers, like at the beginning. They're out throughout the course, but the beginning of the race is just a lot of good energy. Yeah. And I knew you wouldn't be like, you know, when you get to those last 3 or 4 miles, sometimes it feels hard. Right. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna do this. I got this. So he actually trained really hard and, you know, kept working. And then in the meantime, I'm sure you probably discussed the whole saga with the ring.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so he was worried for some reason, like a little bit that, he decided to have the fake text sent saying that the ring wasn't ready. He asked me, he's like, do you think this is a good idea? And I was like, yeah, I think that would be a really good idea, because, he was feeling like you were, trying to sniff him out to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
and
maybe a little. Well, not really, but.
Not really. Well, you had to know he was gonna.
Well, I knew it was gonna be at some point, but I just thought I would know when he was coming into town.
Right.
Or I knew when I was going to Idaho, so I was like,
Right.
it's gonna be either then or then.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So he asked me if I thought it was a good idea, and I said I think that would be a really good idea. And then we were actually on the tennis courts when you got that message, and yeah, you were so sad, and then we both felt bad. Really,
Yeah.
yes. We're like, it's okay, she'll forgive us in the end. And then he was like, I don't know, it must have been like a few days later, because it was supposed to be like a week or so later he was supposed to get the ring, but it was literally just a few days later he got the ring, and I was so surprised. I think it was that Sunday, like a couple days later.
Oh.
And he was texting me and blowing up my phone. He's like, it came, and then he's sending me pictures of it, and anyway, it was super exciting. And then it was like 2 weeks. It was really hard to not, like, all of that excitement had built up, and we'd been planning it for so long, and then he had the ring, and he kept sending me pictures of the ring.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's like, she's going to love it, I can't wait to show it to her. And he's like, I keep almost like slipping and being like, well, when I'm there, or yes. And like we had made a temple appointment the week before, and when you and I went to the temple the week before he got here, I had already made the temple appointment for all of us to go when he was here, and I almost slipped in the temple and said, oh, next week you'll be able to be here I'll be here with Zach.
Oh.
Yeah, so like little things like that where we both were reminding each other. We had to like have all the excitement together, because we were afraid it would leak out and we would accidentally say something.
He said he was trying to like act more sad than he was.
Yes.
Because doing long distance is just kind of like, there's some moments where it's like, ugh, I miss you, or like, it's so long. Because at that point, like, our countdown was like for June. Right. And that was a lot of days.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he said he had to act more sad than he was.
Yes. And admittedly, I did mess with you a little bit. Like I would be like, "Oh, are you sure he wants to marry you?" and all that kind of stuff, and just to like, he did admit having some nerves though. He was like, "I'm not really." He's like, "I know I want to marry her." He's like, "I don't know how it's all gonna work out, but I know I want to be with her." And I was like, "Well, I think that's what matters. You guys will work out the details later." But he just, he was definitely just really sweet, and we had a lot of really cool long conversations just around like him wanting to be a really good husband and father, and like how much he loves you and how much he loves our family, and it was definitely a bonding experience for us. And I didn't expect that, and it was really sweet, and I was just really grateful to have that experience with him. And then I know you probably went through the videos out there for the proposal. I just felt so bad for his parents, because I asked him, I was like, "Hey, are your parents gonna come? Like, they could totally come and just show up on the course too. That would be so cool." And he's like, they couldn't come, so I made sure to send the actual proposal clip and like as it happened to his mom, and so they were so excited. And I know he sent her more stuff later, but because it was a very sweet moment. And and I just don't think that I didn't think that we I honestly, there were times when I didn't think we would pull it off, because it was like so many little parts. And we both agree though that we just couldn't tell anybody. Like, I was honestly not really wanting to tell your dad, but I had to. And it's not that he would like go blab it to you, it's just sometimes he like lets things slip. Yeah. So I was like, just talk. I told him.
Dad didn't know.
I know, right? I just told him, I was like, whenever you talk to Chantel, just talk about tennis and Chick-fil-A. Just talk about work and tennis. He's like, okay, I can do that.
That's so funny.
And he's like, but every once in a while I have to ask about Zach, or she'll think I'm suspicious. I'm like, okay, but that's all you do is like, how is Zach doing?
Yeah.
So he had his like orders, so he wouldn't give anything away.
Yeah.
Okay, did you go through the night? I do want to go through the night of Zach showing up though. Okay. So I was really stressed about him just getting here because his flight was just a few hours before the race.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, are you sure you don't want to come in sooner? And then he's like, I think it'll be harder. She might find out easier and that kind of thing. He was just worried. He was just like worried that would happen. And then I had like some of the news stuff was saying some of the airlines were cutting flights or they had to delay them. And then any kind of delay would have just like ruined the whole thing.
I had a little scare. The time on my phone switched to 8 p.m. and it's supposed to be 7 p.m. And so I had like a little mini heart attack thinking I was right on time for the flight and might be late. So I made it though.
So when your dad actually had him in the car at the airport and they were on their way back, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. So that night, Chantel had been having, had been having some asthma symptoms for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, it would be a good idea to take some Benadryl.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take them early enough, you'll be fine for the race tomorrow.
Yeah.
So she took them at like 5 or 6. And then we went to Target with her sisters. And she was like a little zombie walking through Target.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fell asleep probably like around 9 or 9:30, right?
Well, I was falling asleep in the car, but yeah, it was early.
But when you actually got in the bed, it was definitely like 9 or 9:30.
Yeah.
So basically we drugged her to make sure she didn't show up because Zach was staying at our house. And we are actually finishing our basement, and the electrician had just been here that day, and we told all of our kids not to go in the basement because there were live wires and that they could get electrocuted. So don't go in the basement for any reason. So we snuck Zach in. It was probably like 1 a.m. and everybody was like mostly asleep. She was for sure out.
Mm-hmm.
And we chatted with him a little bit, and he and I were both so excited we didn't want to go to sleep, but we made ourselves sleep for a few hours and to get up and to be ready. And then your dad and I were like, okay, let's get going, let's get everybody out of here so he has enough time. And I was like, Benjamin, you better go down and make sure he's awake because the whole plan is ruined if he sleeps through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And for sure he went down there and Zach was not awake. He had slept through his alarm.
Well, Zach said his alarm was for 2 minutes later.
It was for 2 minutes
Yeah,
later.
like it hadn't gone off yet.
Oh, well, originally when we all went to bed, he said it was like for like half an hour earlier, and we hadn't heard him at all.
Oh.
Cause anyway, so that's why we were worried.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I figured, and I had texted him, and he hadn't responded.
Oh.
So that's why I was a little bit worried. But
You're like, is he up?
yes. So anyway, he went and got him up and made sure he was awake before we woke you guys up, or made sure you were awake for the race. And then we left, and then he went in because we were going to tell your brothers the night before, but they both passed out and were asleep. So Zach went in at like 5:30 in the morning into their room in the dark with his phone and his flashlight, and it was shining it in their eyes. It was like, hey, this is Zach. I promise it's really me. And Xander, our 13-year-old, was like, thought it was a burglar. It was like, hey, can you come back and burglar us later because I need my rest? And he couldn't believe it was Zach. And then he got him up and explained the plan. Well, he said he explained the plan, but Xander said later he didn't know that Zach was going to propose. He thought he was just here to surprise Chantel.
Because Xander was just half asleep.
Probably. He's like, thought he was just here to surprise you.
Yeah.
And then like 20 minutes before, when he set up the tripod on the course, or like 30 minutes before, whatever, he was like, why are you doing that? And Zach's like, oh, let me show you the ring. And then and then he said it like while they were waiting for us. He was like super stressed. Zach was getting really stressed and like a little cold feet, and so Xander's like, it's okay, man, she's gonna say yes, even if you like fall on your face when you kneel down, she'll say yes. And he was trying to reassure him and everything. But and I'm sure she already talked about this, but just for the record, I was not actually delaying that much on purpose. I definitely was struggling to run. Okay,
I did talk.
Yes, well, it was real. It's like I had all of this adrenaline for like months, and then it all came pouring into me, and then I couldn't breathe. Yeah, I was having all kinds of asthma symptoms, and and then I was just like making sure. I was a little bit worried for some reason that we would miss them, which is, I knew exactly where they were, but I was still a little bit worried about that. Yeah.
We would just run past them.
Mm-hmm. Well, or not necessarily miss them completely, but like miss like seeing them and then go a little bit further, or my other concern was like maybe like how sometimes there'll be like a big group of people running and they kind of get all like tangled up, or like
so they wouldn't see us. Or
yes.
Oh.
So anyway, it was like all of these anxieties about making sure I got you to that point, and just so when I saw Xander, I was so relieved. I was like, oh, I could breathe again. Yeah, it was so good.
That's good.
Yeah, and I was a little worried if you were gonna. We were both talked about that a bit to make sure, like, he was like, do you think this is a romantic proposal? And I was like, well, you'll be there and she'll be there and she'll definitely be surprised. He was like, yeah. He was like, there's no way. I was like, I cannot. He's like, I've been racking my brain. I cannot think of a better way to surprise her. Yeah. So was that like the most important part to you?
Yeah, the surprise for sure.
Chantel, Sheldon, I love you so much.
I didn't want to be expecting it. I didn't want, like, I feel like a lot of proposals are like, the girl like had like, okay, we have dinner reservations at our favorite spot, and he's telling me to wear this dress, and I just got my nails done, and like she'll make a video like, I'm pretty sure I'm getting proposed to right now. Right. But like there was no like hint of anything.
Well, I did try to prepare you. We got a new running outfit.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did.
And then I was like, hey, do you want to get your nails done? And
yeah, I turned that one down.
Yeah, well, you wanted them to be.
Yeah, my nails have been sad from a lot of gel manicures.
Yes.
So.
And then I was like, oh, we should go dress shopping. Don't you need a new dress for Sunday? Because I was I was thinking you might need something to wear for some
pictures.
Yeah. I knew I couldn't say too much. The thing that probably stressed me out the most about the whole thing, though, honestly, was your work. Like, I did debate whether or not I should contact, because I know some of them, and
Yeah, for context, I was scheduled to work while Zach was still going to be staying here. So she, like, you didn't know whether or not to like call them and tell them, hey, don't schedule her. But it would have been weird though if I had gotten my schedule and there was nothing there. Yeah. Or maybe, I mean, I'm sure they would have, like, if you had talked to like one of the directors or something, they may have been able to like, yeah, we'll put her on there, but we know she's not coming in or something. But
well, and your dad was like, if anybody says anything, even inadvertently, to one person or to
one person, well, like, that's the thing with like people that like care about you but don't care about you that much. They're gonna be like passing it along to all the other people, and then they're all gonna know. And then if anyone like said anything or slipped or made a comment or even just like a smirk at something that I said, or I don't know. Exactly. So, but it's okay. I figured it out. I got covers for work.
Yeah, but
it's only a little bit stressful.
It stressed us both out tremendously, though. I think it was the night before or 2 nights before the race when you were like, they want me to lead.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to manage both Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So and he was supposed to be there Monday. So yeah, but it's okay. I figured it out.
Yeah, because he debated about that too. He's like, should I just come in for the couple days, or I was like, just trust that it'll work out, and she'll be able to get some time off.
It did work out.
Yeah, it did. Because now you're engaged.
Indeed.
Yes. Oh, I love you, baby girl.
I love you too.
Alright, you guys, that was honestly so much fun to watch. Thank you, Chantel, and Chantel's mom for doing that video. That was, I mean, even for me, it was fun to just listen back and hear the stories again, and just hear the emotions coming straight from her mouth again. And, I mean, that was such a wonderful day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video of this little story time. Lots more videos to come, so stay tuned. Especially when she gets here in about a month, a little less than a month, we're going to be able to sit down and do a couple of videos of some good stories. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Day like, my brain just went blank. It's like you have to cut that. I don't know what just happened in my brain. Okay.
Wait, are we recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
Oh, okay.